Hello, everybody, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and we hope by now you're very excited about football or soccer. This is the World Cup time of year, so this comes every 4 years, actually. And we've got a lesson all about it.
That's right. So as everyone may or may not have heard, we are actually in the middle of the World Cup. And as you say, it's a football or soccer competition. Now, soccer is only used in the United States.
That's right. It's used in the United States, although football can be confusing in a place like Australia, where they have two different games that are called football.
That's right. So it's a little bit difficult at times to tell someone that you play football and they think you play American football or Australian football or soccer. So it's a little bit confusing.
It can be, yeah.
All right, so we have a great lesson all about the World Cup. We're going to explain a little bit, and so let's listen to the dialogue for the very first time.
Wow. Have you noticed how the whole world seems to be talking about one thing these days? Everywhere I go, people are shouting, cheering, and wearing colorful shirts.
Of course, I know what you're talking about. It's the World Cup, the biggest sporting event on the planet. It's like a giant celebration where countries come together to compete, but also to share excitement and passion.
It amazes me how powerful it is. Imagine, millions of people from different countries speaking different languages all watching the same match. That's something rare, right? It's like football becomes the common language of the world.
Exactly. And here's something useful for your English. When people talk about the World Cup, they often use phrases like the kickoff to mean the very beginning. For example, the kickoff is at 7 p.m. But in daily life, we can also say, let's kick off the meeting, meaning let's start.
And that's interesting. So watching football isn't just fun, it's also a way to learn new words and expressions. And I guess it teaches us culture too, because in some countries they say soccer and in others they say football.
Yes, and that's a great cultural point. In the United States, soccer is the word. But almost everywhere else, people say football. It can be a little confusing, but that's part of learning English. You discover how words change from place to place.
I love that. It makes the World Cup not only a sport, but also a big classroom for language and life.
Do you know what makes the World Cup so exciting? It only happens once every 4 years. That means people wait and prepare for such a long time, which makes the moment even more special. It's like waiting for your birthday, but even bigger.
Yeah, and the whole system of the tournament is really interesting. At first, there are 32 teams, and they're divided into groups. We call this the group stage. Each group has 4 teams, and only 2 from each group can move forward.
That's right. And here's a little English tip. When we say a team moves forward, it means they advance or qualify to the next stage. For example, Brazil moved forward to the quarterfinals. You can use move forward not only in sports, but also in life, like she moved forward in her career.
Oh, that's a powerful phrase. After the group stage, the matches get even tougher. They call it the knockout stage because one mistake can send a team home. Lose once, and you're out.
Exactly. And this is why fans get so emotional. It's not just a game. It's about national pride, teamwork, and even hope. That's why when people watch, they cheer, shout, and sometimes even cry. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
I can see why people say the World Cup is bigger than any other sporting event. It's not only about winning, it's about sharing feelings with millions of people around the world. You know what really surprises me? The number of people who actually watch the World Cup. I read somewhere that more than 700 million people watched the final match one year. Can you imagine? That's like almost 10 times the population of some countries.
Yes, and in English, we often say a global audience to describe that. The World Cup has a global audience, meaning people from every corner of the world are watching. And here's a phrase for learners: corner of the world doesn't mean a real corner, it just means a place far away.
So if I say fans came from every corner of the world, it means fans came from everywhere. That's such a cool expression, and I think it fits perfectly because people really do travel across oceans and continents just to see one match.
Exactly. And think about the atmosphere inside the stadium. Imagine thousands of people singing, waving flags, and cheering their team on. In English, we use the phrase to cheer someone on to mean encourage them with your voice and energy.
So if my friend is running a race, I can say, I was cheering him on. That makes sense. And during the World Cup, whole nations are cheering their teams on. It must feel amazing for the players to hear that kind of support.
It really does. That's why players often say the fans are like the 12th man on the field. It means the crowd gives them so much energy, it feels like having an extra player.
Wow, that shows how powerful unity and support can be, not just in sports, but in life too.
Something that always fascinates me is how each country brings its own style of football to the World Cup. For example, Brazil is famous for fast, creative, and skillful play. People often call it the beautiful game.
Yes, and that phrase is so popular. The beautiful game isn't just about playing well. It's about art, rhythm, and passion. Watching Brazil play almost feels like watching a dance. It's smooth, it's elegant, and it's powerful at the same time.
Exactly. On the other hand, some teams are known for their strong defense. In English, we say to defend well or to hold the line. For example, Italy is famous for holding the line with their strong defenders. That means they make it very difficult for opponents to score.
I like that phrase, hold the line. I can even use it in daily life, right? Like, even when life gets tough, I will hold the line. It means to stay strong and not give up. Perfect.
That's a wonderful way to use it outside football. And, each team's style reflects their culture. Some play with discipline, some with freedom, some with energy. It's like football is a mirror of the people.
That makes the World Cup more than just a competition. It's like a world stage where nations express their identity, their way of life through how they play the game. Another thing I find amazing is how emotional the World Cup can be. Fans don't just watch quietly, they live every second of the match. When their team scores, the whole country explodes with joy. And when their team loses, it can feel like heartbreak.
That's so true. In English, we often say a match can be nerve-wracking. It means it makes you feel nervous, excited, and even stressed at the same time. For example, the penalty shootout was nerve-wracking. And you can use it in daily life too, like, waiting for my exam results was nerve-wracking.
Oh, I like that phrase, because watching football really is nerve-wracking sometimes. One small mistake, one goal, and everything changes. No wonder fans bite their nails and shout at the TV.
Then speaking of shouting, another common phrase is on the edge of your seat. That means you're so excited or worried that you can't sit still. People say, the movie kept me on the edge of my seat. And during the World Cup, almost every game keeps fans on the edge of their seats.
That's a perfect description. I've seen fans jump, cry, laugh, and even pray during matches. It shows that football is not just about goals. It's about emotions, stories, and unforgettable moments.
Exactly. The World Cup proves that sport has the power to move people, to connect them, and to make them feel part of something much bigger than themselves. You know what else is really interesting about the World Cup? The way small countries can surprise the whole world. Sometimes a team that nobody expected to win suddenly defeats a giant. In English, we call this an underdog story.
Oh, I love that term. Underdog means someone or some team that people don't expect to win, right? Like when a student nobody noticed becomes the top of the class. That's an underdog story too.
Exactly. And the World Cup is full of them. When an underdog beats a strong team, commentators often say they pulled off an upset. That means they surprised everyone by winning against the odds.
That phrase is useful. For example, I could say, our school team pulled off an upset when we beat the champions. It makes the win sound even more exciting.
Perfect. And that's why people love these moments. They show that in football, just like in life, anything is possible. You don't always need to be the biggest or richest to win. You just need courage, teamwork, and belief.
I think that's what makes the World Cup so motivating. It teaches us to never underestimate anyone and to always believe in possibilities, no matter how small we think we are. Something else I've noticed is how the World Cup brings cultures together. Fans from different countries meet, sing, dance, and even share food in the streets. It's like a giant international festival.
That's true. And in English, we often say sport unites people. It means sport has the power to bring people together, even if they speak different languages or come from different backgrounds. The World Cup is the perfect example of that.
Yes, and I've heard another nice expression, breaking down barriers. It means removing differences or problems between people. For example, football breaks down barriers between nations. That's beautiful because you see rivals shaking hands, fans hugging strangers, and children smiling together.
Exactly. And that's why people say football is more than just a game. It's a bridge between countries, cultures, and hearts. Even if teams fight on the field, there's still respect and connection outside the stadium.
I like that word, bridge. It shows that football connects people who might never meet otherwise. Maybe that's the real magic of the World Cup. It's not only about trophies, but also about friendship and unity.
Absolutely. And for learners of English, this is a great lesson too. Just like football builds bridges, language does the same. Every new word you learn is like a step toward connecting with more people in the world. One thing many people don't realize is how much discipline and hard work the players put in before the World Cup. Behind every goal, there are years of training, practice, and sacrifice. In English, we often use the phrase, no pain, no gain, to describe this idea.
Ah, yes. No pain, no gain means you can't achieve something great without effort and sometimes struggle. I can use it in daily life too, like studying English every day is hard, but no pain, no gain.
Exactly. And football teaches us the same lesson. Teams practice for months, sometimes years, just to have the chance to play on this world stage. That's why another useful expression is, hard work pays off. It means the effort you put in will bring you results later.
I like that phrase. For example, her hard work paid off when she passed the exam, and in the World Cup, a player's hard work pays off when they finally score the winning goal or lift the trophy.
Yes, and it's not only about physical strength, it's about mental strength too. Players must stay calm, focused, and confident under extreme pressure. In English, we sometimes say, keep your cool. That means stay calm even when things are stressful.
That's a phrase I need for my own life. I tried to keep my cool during the interview. See, football vocabulary works everywhere. And it shows us that success in life is just like football. You need teamwork, training, and the courage to keep going. And you know, when I think about the World Cup, it's not only the players who inspire me, it's also the fans. People decorate their houses, paint their faces, and wave their flags with pride. In English, we often say, show your true colors. It means to show who you really are. And during the World Cup, people truly show their love for their country.
That's a great phrase. And another one is under your belt. For example, Brazil has the most World Cup titles under their belt. But outside of football, you can say he has 10 years of teaching under his belt. It means he already has that experience or achievement.
I see. So the World Cup teaches us language, culture, and even life lessons. It's more than goals and trophies. It's about dreams, teamwork, unity, and learning something new every single day.
Exactly. And that's why talking about the World Cup is such a great way to improve English. Every phrase, every new word can be used in real life. And listeners, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to share it, subscribe, like, and leave us a comment about your favorite World Cup memory.
Yes, we'd love to know which team you cheer for and what English phrases you picked up today. Your stories and thoughts can inspire others too, just like football inspires the world.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing? Don't you know what day it is?
No.
It's only the day when the world's biggest sporting event is kicking off.
What?
The World Cup. The first match is today. It's Mexico versus South Africa. It's going to be a really good match. Both teams have a very strong offense and have skilled players. I think that South Africa will probably dominate the first half since they are the host country and all.
I have no idea what you're talking about. The only sporting event we watch at home is the Super Bowl.
This is bigger than the Super Bowl, man. Teams from 32 countries compete against each other every 4 years and fight to win that trophy. They first start in a group stage with 8 groups, each group having 4 teams. The top 2 teams pass on to an elimination stage before going on to the semifinals and the quarterfinals.
Sounds interesting, but soccer doesn't really appeal to me.
Are you kidding? Over 700 million people watched the final match of the 2006 World Cup. It's a very exciting and nerve-wracking sport. Each nation is cheering on their team, hoping they will become the next champion. So far, Brazil is the team with the most titles under their belt. They're really good.
All I know about soccer is that you can't use your hands and that players are always falling down trying to get a free kick or penalty kick. It seems like a sissy sport to me.
Whatever. I'm going to go watch the opening match.
All right, we're back. So obviously, 2 people discussing or fighting over the World Cup and soccer. One of them doesn't really like it. But he came up with some really interesting points and explained a couple of interesting things. So let's take a look at some of that vocab on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So, okay, the very first phrase here is a very important one. We're talking about sports. This game is called a sporting event.
That's right. So a sporting event is an event, I guess you would say, is a performance or something that happens occasionally, but related to sports.
That's right. So an event can be a game itself or a tournament. You've heard maybe of, well, the UEFA Cup, that's the European Federation of Football or whatever it is. So basically you have this tournament for European soccer teams, but World Cup is also an event, and a very important game could also be an event. So this basically means a sporting match or a sporting competition.
That's right. Now, it may sound confusing as to why you put the ing in sport. It should be maybe sports event or sport event. But I'm not really sure why we add the gerund to sporting event.
We always just say it this way. It's a set phrase. So let's remember that it's sporting event. This is the world's most important sporting event, for example.
Okay, very good. Now, we went in, we talked about the first match, Mexico versus South Africa, and they're talking about the teams and how they both have a very strong offense.
Okay, so offense is a part of the team. Basically, it's a group of players who are trying to score.
That's right.
Okay, so when you're good at offense, it means you're good at scoring. And the opposite of offense is what?
Defense.
Defense. So offense, defense. You can say they have a very strong defense. That means that it's very hard to score against them because their defenders, their goalies, they're all very strong.
That's right. So we're talking about an offense and a defense, both very important parts of a team. And so the guy continued and made a little bit of a prediction saying that South Africa will probably dominate the first half.
Okay, so you know that football matches are split into halves. You have first half and second half. To dominate here means to be stronger than someone else.
So to control the ball or to have possession or to be the one that is the strongest team on the field.
That's right. So you can dominate by having a very strong defense, or you can dominate by having a very strong offense, or both. Dominate means be stronger than.
That's right. Okay, now let's move on to the other guy who doesn't really like soccer. And he says, I have no idea what you're talking about. All I know is that I watch the Super Bowl.
Okay, now this is a very American thing, the Super Bowl.
That's right.
We mentioned earlier that in America, most people call the game soccer, not football. Well, that's because in America, we have a different game called football.
That's right.
And so the Super Bowl is like the most important game in the football world. It's the game that happens every year at the very end of the season.
That's right. So this is what we usually call American football. So you've probably seen it on TV as well. And the Super Bowl is basically the name of the final sporting event of American football. Just like we have World Cup, we have the Super Bowl.
And the winner of the Super Bowl is the best team that year.
That's right. All right, so now let's go on to explain a little bit about how the World Cup works. The guy went on to explain that there are 32 countries competing, and basically we have 3 parts: an elimination stage, a semifinals, and quarterfinals.
Okay, so basically this describes the different levels, because obviously 32 teams can't compete for one trophy at first. You have to make the numbers smaller. So 32 becomes 16, becomes 8, becomes 4, becomes 2.
That's right.
And so we have different groups for these. The first one is the elimination stage, when some teams lose and they go home.
That's right.
And after that, then we have a quarterfinals. So what is quarterfinals?
The quarterfinals are when you have 8 teams that are basically the top 8 teams of the competition, and they will play against one other opponent. So the winner passes on to the next stage, which would be the semifinals.
Well, the math makes sense because quarter has to do with 4, right?
That's right.
So in the quarterfinals, 8 teams become 4. And in the semifinals, 4 teams become 2.
That's right.
And then what happens after the semifinals?
And then we have the final, where basically the 2 top teams will compete against each other, and there will be one champion.
USA! US! And this is when it gets very nationalistic. People are very proud of their countries.
Of course. And so this basically is what happens and how we get our champion. And, well, now let's explain a little bit very quickly about 2 things that happen in the game during gameplay, when we have a free kick and a penalty kick.
Okay, so a kick, you just kick the ball. But sometimes when the ball goes out of bounds, or when a player is injured or there's a foul, then that player or his teammate can take a special kick. All right, and so a free kick it's just a kick from anywhere, right? A free kick is a kick that you get basically according to the referee, who says, okay, stop the game. He's going to kick from inside the lines.
That's right. So wherever you are fouled, wherever somebody maybe hit you wrong or something happened, from that position you will kick freely towards the goal or wherever you want.
You can pass to your other players as well.
That's right.
But a penalty kick is a bit different because you have to be in a special place when you do it.
That's right. A penalty kick is when you are fouled inside the box, what they call it, in the area very close to the goalie. So if you commit a foul there, then the other player will receive a penalty kick, and it will just be him against the goalie, and he must kick the ball. I think it's approximately 10 meters, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and this is why it's very dangerous, because you're so close to the goalie and no one can stop you. And so when fouls happen inside that special box, it's usually bad news for the goalie.
Yeah, of course. So this is what happens during a penalty kick, and well, basically, you have no defenders, so it's just you, the goalie, and it can get, as you said, very complicated for the goalie. So, all right, so we've taken a look at a lot of things on language takeaway. Let's move on now to 3 phrases on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, so this is a great word to describe how I felt last week when I watched the England versus America match. I thought it was a nerve-wracking game.
That's
okay?
right.
And we heard this in the dialogue, right?
Yeah, you said it was a very nerve-wracking game, or in the dialogue the guy said it's a very exciting and nerve-wracking sport. So if something's nerve-wracking, what does it mean? Well,
basically, if you break it down, nerves are those things in your body, in your skin, that make you feel. So if someone hurts you, you feel it because of your nerves. So something that is nerve-wracking makes you nervous. It makes you anxious. It makes you feel very sensitive.
That's right. So, of course, the sporting event is so exciting, and you're worried that your country or your team will lose, that you're very nervous and you're very excited, you're very anxious. A lot of things are going on.
Maybe you're sweating, maybe you're drinking a lot. You don't want to know. You don't want to see your team lose, and so you get very nervous.
That's right. And now, of course, if your team is in the World Cup, you are cheering on for your team, or you're cheering them on.
Okay, so this is an interesting phrase because maybe you've heard the word to cheer before, go team, go team.
Yeah.
This is cheering. But we often say, I want to cheer him on. Okay, so this on to me means like, I want to cheer him on to victory. I want to push them towards some goal. And so you hear this a lot. Let's cheer them on. Or he was really cheering me on. Made me feel good. And
Motivating you.
So to cheer someone on, cheer them on.
All right. So obviously, this is why we have cheerleaders, right? Girls that
Give me an
cheer-
A. Give me a B.
These are the girls or the group of girls that cheer teams on.
Or men, too. I've seen male cheerleaders.
Yes, that's true. All right. And now when we talked about Brazil, they are the team with the most titles under their belt.
Okay, we're not talking about a real belt here, are we?
No.
No. Under your belt, or under their belt in this case, means that in their history, they have the most titles.
That's right. I think it may come from boxing or one of those sports where you actually wear a belt that says your title. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes a boxing belt will have various titles on the belt.
Right, the championship belts.
Yeah.
Because they wear it afterwards. I've never heard that before, but it does make sense. But the important thing to remember here is that it's not just sports. You could say he has 10 years of experience in marketing under his belt.
That's right.
That means he's good. I mean, he's experienced at marketing.
That's right. So that's right. As you said, you can use it for work experience. You can use it for titles in work, or maybe in education. You can say he's got 3 master's degrees under his belt.
Wow.
All right. So a lot of great stuff there. We've taken a look at a lot of vocab. So I think we should listen to our dialogue again, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more.
Welcome to WorldPod English Video. Today's story is called Chasing the Cup. It's a story about dreams, teamwork, and the language of passion that connects people all over the world. Imagine a small town where a boy named Leo spent every evening kicking a worn-out ball made of old socks and tape. The streets were dusty, the goalposts were made of stones, and the crowd was just a few neighborhood kids. But in Leo's heart, there was a fire, a dream to one day play in the World Cup. He didn't just want to win a game, he wanted to make his country proud. Every afternoon after school, he would shout, "Pass! Pass! Shoot!" while playing alone. These were some of the first English words he learned, copied from a football match he once watched on TV at a small cafe. That's how his English journey began, through football. He learned that to pass means to give the ball to another player. To shoot means to try to score. And goal means success. He didn't know it then, but football was teaching him not just about sports, but about communication, effort, and hope. As time went by, Leo started watching real matches on an old radio with his friends. They didn't understand every word the commentators said, but they loved the excitement in the voice. What a match! Unbelievable defense! A strong offense! These phrases became their English practice. Every cheer and shout became a lesson in listening and speaking. Leo's mother used to say, "Son, football is not just a game. It's a teacher. It teaches you teamwork, patience, and courage." And she was right. Football connected him with the world. It showed him that even though people spoke different languages, they shared the same emotions: excitement, disappointment, joy, and pride. He learned another useful phrase from one of his favorite players in an interview: never give up. It became his life motto. Even when he lost matches or missed goals, he whispered it to himself: never give up. This phrase became more powerful than any grammar rule or vocabulary list. So today, as we begin this story, remember that learning English, just like chasing a dream, is like football. You may fall, miss, or fail, but every try is practice. Every mistake is a step closer to your goal. The sun was rising, and the streets were silent except for the sound of a ball bouncing on the ground. Leo was already awake, practicing alone before school. The ball was old, the air was cold, but his dream was warm. Every kick, every breath, every drop of sweat was a small promise to himself. I'll make it one day. As he practiced, he repeated English words he had written on a piece of paper: goal, effort, focus, teamwork, success. These weren't just vocabulary words.
They were values. He knew that to learn a language or master a sport, you needed the same three things: practice, patience, and passion. One morning, his school announced something exciting: an English-speaking football competition. Students had to play football and speak English during the game. For Leo, it was a dream come true, his two favorite worlds together. But there was one problem. He was shy when speaking English. His pronunciation wasn't perfect, and sometimes he mixed words. That night, Leo sat by a small lamp with his English notebook. He practiced football phrases he had learned from TV. Nice pass. Shoot. Watch your defense. We can do this. He said them out loud again and again. His little sister laughed and said, "Leo, are you talking to yourself?" He smiled and answered, "No, I'm talking to my dream." The next day, the match began. Leo's team was nervous, but the rule was clear: English only. If you spoke another language, you lost points. At first, everyone hesitated, afraid of making mistakes. But Leo took a big breath and shouted, "Come on, team, let's win this." His voice broke the silence. Suddenly, everyone started speaking, not perfectly, but bravely. "Pass the ball. Good job. Nice try." The field was full of energy and laughter. Mistakes didn't matter anymore. Confidence replaced fear. When the game ended, they didn't win the match, but they won something bigger: courage. Their teacher smiled and said, "You played with heart. That's the real victory." That night, Leo realized something powerful. The more you use English, the more it becomes a part of you. Just like football, English isn't about being perfect. It's about communicating, connecting, and enjoying the game. And as he walked home, tired but happy, he whispered to himself, "One day, I'll speak English like a champion and play like one too."
Days turned into weeks, and Leo's love for football and English kept growing stronger. He started listening to English podcasts about famous players, how they trained, how they failed, and how they never stopped trying. He repeated their words, practiced their accents, and even wrote down inspiring quotes in his notebook. One of his favorites was, "Champions are not born, they are made through hard work." Leo used every chance to improve his English. When he watched football matches, he focused on the commentators' phrases. "He dominates the first half. A strong defense. That was a perfect pass." He paused the video, repeated each line aloud, and imagined himself as a real commentator. It became his secret training method, learning English through passion. One day, while practicing at the field, his coach, Mr. Harris, a foreign English teacher, noticed him. "You really love football, don't you?" he asked. Leo nodded shyly. Mr. Harris smiled and said, "You know, Leo, football and English are quite similar. In both, you must listen carefully, think quickly, and communicate clearly. If you want to be great, you must train your ears and your heart." Those words stayed in Leo's mind. That night, he wrote them on his wall with a marker. Listen carefully, think quickly, communicate clearly. From that day, Leo began training differently. He didn't just kick the ball, he spoke to it. Pass, defend, shoot. He practiced giving commands in English. He described his moves like a storyteller. Leo dribbles past the defender. He shoots and scores. It made his practice more exciting and helped him think in English naturally. Sometimes he made mistakes, but instead of feeling embarrassed, he laughed and learned. He told himself, every mistake is a new step to success. That mindset changed everything. He stopped chasing perfection and started chasing progress. And one afternoon, when his coach asked him to lead the warm-up session in English, he didn't hesitate. "Let's go, team! 10 push-ups! Stretch your legs! Stay focused!" His voice was confident, clear, and full of energy. Everyone followed his lead. That day, Leo wasn't just a player. He was a leader. The next morning, the town's small football field was alive with energy. The local newspaper had announced a youth football tournament, and teams from nearby towns would compete. For Leo, this was the biggest event of his life so far. He felt both excited and nervous. Or, as he had recently learned from his English podcast, it's a nerve-wracking feeling. Leo's coach, Mr. Harris, called the team together and said, "Remember, boys, it's not just about winning. It's about teamwork, communication, and spirit. Use English on the field. It will help you think fast and stay united." The players nodded. Leo felt a mix of pride and pressure. He was now one of the few who could guide others in English. The whistle blew. The match began. The crowd cheered as dust rose from the ground. Leo shouted, "Cover me! I'm open!"
"Do this together!" Leo shouted, his voice filled with energy. "Remember, a strong team never gives up." His words lifted everyone's spirits. Suddenly, the players began moving faster, communicating louder, and believing again. Leo received the ball near midfield. "Pass, pass," someone shouted. He passed quickly, ran forward, and shouted, "I'm open, over here." The ball came flying back. He controlled it with one touch, looked up, and kicked with all his strength. The ball soared through the air, curved perfectly, and landed in the corner of the goal. The crowd exploded with cheers. "Goal!" yelled everyone, and Leo's teammates surrounded him. It wasn't just a goal. It was a moment of unity, a mix of English and emotion. His coach clapped proudly, shouting, "That's the spirit, Leo." When the game ended, the score was 1-1, but no one cared about the tie. The match had turned into a lesson in confidence and communication. Mr. Harris gathered the team and said, "What you did today was incredible. You didn't just play football. You used language to lead, to motivate, and to connect. That's real teamwork." Leo felt proud. That night, he wrote in his journal, quote, "English is not just a language, it's a bridge. It connects me to people, to dreams, to the world." Close quote. He realized something powerful. Learning English wasn't only about grammar or vocabulary. It was about expressing feelings, inspiring others, and believing in yourself. Before going to bed, he listened to one of his favorite motivational speakers who said, "Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect." He smiled and whispered, "That's exactly what I did today." As he drifted to sleep, Leo felt that something inside him had changed. He wasn't just chasing the cup anymore. He was chasing growth, confidence, and connection. Weeks passed, and Leo's name began to spread around the town. People didn't just talk about his football skills. They admired his English, his leadership, and his attitude. Children started calling him Coach Leo, even though he was still a teenager. He didn't see himself as a teacher, but he loved helping others. Every evening, a small group of kids gathered around him on the dusty field. They brought old footballs, plastic bottles for cones, and notebooks for new English words. Leo smiled and said, "All right, team, today we learn English and football." The kids cheered. He began simple. "Repeat after me. Kick the ball." They shouted, "Kick the ball!" Good, now say, pass it to me. They laughed. Then he taught them phrases for motivation. We can win. Don't give up. Nice try. Good defense. The lessons were fun. The kids were learning English without even realizing it. Every time they missed a shot, Leo reminded them, mistakes are part of the game and part of learning. One afternoon, a little girl named Nilla asked, Leo, why do you love English so much? He thought for a moment and said, because English opens doors. When you learn a language, you open the door to new people, new ideas, and new dreams. He then pointed to the sky and added, and when you play football, you learn teamwork. When you speak English, you learn connection. Together, they make you stronger, inside and out. The kids clapped. They didn't just learn new words, they learned new ways to think. Leo realized that teaching others made his own English even better. He was no longer just a student, he was becoming a role model. That night, he looked at his reflection and whispered, this is what success feels like, helping others grow while you grow too. He opened his notebook and wrote a new goal at the top of the page. Quote, one day, I'll play football abroad and give interviews in English. Close quote. His dream was getting bigger, clearer, and closer. One evening, Leo received an unexpected message. It was from his coach, Mr. Harris. Leo, it read, a regional youth football camp is looking for talented players who can communicate in English. I think you should apply. Leo froze. His heart beat faster. This was the chance he had been waiting for, a real opportunity to take his dream beyond the small town. But then fear whispered inside him, what if my English isn't good enough? What if I fail? He took a deep breath and remembered his favorite phrase, never give up. That night, he practiced his English introduction again and again. Hello, my name is Leo. I'm from Green Valley. I love football because it teaches teamwork, discipline, and courage. He recorded himself, listened carefully, corrected pronunciation, and tried again. His voice became stronger each time. When the day of the tryouts came, the field was full of young players from different towns. Some spoke English fluently, others struggled, but everyone had the same dream, to be chosen. The coach of the camp, a tall man with a whistle and a kind smile, greeted them in English. Good morning, everyone. Today I want to see your skills, not only in football, but also in communication. Are you ready? The players shouted, yes, coach! Leo felt his nerves melting into excitement. The drills began. Passing, dribbling, shooting. When it was Leo's turn, he spoke clearly to his teammates. Pass it here. Cover me. Nice move. The coach watched carefully, writing notes. Then he said, you, the boy in the blue shirt. What's your name? Leo stood tall. My name is Leo, sir. Leo, the coach said, your teamwork and communication are excellent. You lead with words, not just with the ball. Leo smiled, unable to hide his joy. For the first time, he felt that his English wasn't just a language, it was his superpower. After the match, Mr. Harris came to him and said, I'm proud of you, Leo. Remember, the world listens to those who speak with confidence. No matter the accent, no matter the mistakes. That night, Leo looked up at the stars and whispered, maybe my dream isn't that far anymore. A week later, Leo received a letter, the kind that makes your hands shake before you open it. It was from the regional football camp. He held his breath as he tore it open. The first line read, congratulations, Leo. You have been selected to join the regional youth football program. He couldn't believe it.
His dream, the one he had whispered every night, had come true. He ran outside shouting, "Mom, I did it! I got in!" His mother hugged him tightly, her eyes full of tears and pride. She said softly, "I told you, dreams listen to those who never stop speaking to them." The camp was in another city, far from his small town. When Leo arrived, everything felt new. Bigger fields, faster players, and coaches from different countries. The first day was completely in English. At first, he struggled to understand every word, but he listened carefully, just like Mr. Harris had taught him. During training, the coach shouted, "Switch sides! Watch your defense! Keep the pressure!" Some players hesitated, not sure what to do, but Leo responded quickly. His quick understanding of English gave him an advantage. He became the player others looked to when they were confused. At lunch, players from different countries sat together. A boy from Japan said, "Your English very good, Leo." Leo smiled and replied, "Thanks, yours too. Let's practice together." Soon they were teaching each other phrases, laughing at mistakes, and learning new words through friendship. One evening, the coach gathered all players and said, "In this camp, football is our game, but English is our connection. Use it to learn, to lead, and to grow." Leo felt those words deeply. For him, this wasn't just training, it was transformation. By the end of the week, Leo had learned more than football strategies. He had learned how language can build bridges between people who don't even share the same culture. He realized that speaking English wasn't just about words, it was about connecting hearts. Before going to bed, he wrote in his journal, "The ball travels on the ground, but language travels through the world." And as he closed his notebook, Leo smiled, knowing that both his feet and his words were carrying him toward his dream.
The final day of the football camp arrived. The air was thick with excitement. It was the championship match, and Leo's team had made it to the finals. The stadium wasn't big, but to Leo, it felt like the World Cup itself. Flags waved, voices echoed, and the smell of fresh grass filled the air. Before the game began, the coach gathered the players in a circle. "Today," he said, "you're not just playing for a trophy. You're playing to show how far you've come in skill, in teamwork, and in confidence. Speak to each other, help each other, and play with heart." Leo nodded. His heart was beating fast, but it wasn't fear, it was focus. He whispered to himself, "Never give up. Believe. Play smart." The whistle blew. The match began at full speed. The other team was strong and quick, but Leo's team had something special: unity. They communicated clearly, shouting in English across the field. "Mark your man! Push forward! Cross it!" Their voices created rhythm. Their teamwork created magic. Near the end of the second half, the score was 1-1. Only a few minutes remained. The ball came to Leo near the center of the field. He looked up, saw the goalkeeper slightly off his line, and took a chance. He kicked, not with fear, but with faith. The ball curved beautifully through the air, kissed the top of the net, and fell inside. "Goal!" The crowd roared. His teammates ran toward him, shouting, "You did it, Leo! You did it!" When the final whistle blew, they had won. Not just the match, but something far more important. During the awards ceremony, the coach called Leo forward. This young man showed us that English and football can work together, that words and effort can move the world. He didn't just chase the cup, he inspired us all. Leo held the trophy in his hands. It shone under the sun, but what shone brighter was his smile. He thought of his small town, his mother, Mr. Harris, the children he had taught, and he whispered, "We did it." That night, as he lay in bed,
Leo didn't dream of fame or money. He dreamed of teaching others, of helping more young players learn English through football, just like he did, because he now knew that language could be more than words. It could be hope, courage, and connection. And in that quiet moment, Leo realized something beautiful. He hadn't just chased the cup. He had found his purpose.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing? Don't you know what day it is?
No.
It's only the day when the world's biggest sporting event is kicking off.
What?
The World Cup. The first match is today. It's Mexico versus South Africa. It's going to be a really good match. Both teams have a very strong offense and have skilled players. I think that South Africa will probably dominate the first half since they are the host country and all.
I have no idea what you're talking about. The only sporting event we watch at home is the Super Bowl.
This is bigger than the Super Bowl, man. Teams from 32 countries compete against each other every 4 years and fight to win that trophy. They first start in a group stage with 8 groups, each group having 4 teams. The top 2 teams pass on to an elimination stage before going on to the semifinals and the quarterfinals.
Sounds interesting, but soccer doesn't really appeal to me.
Are you kidding? Over 700 million people watched the final match of the 2006 World Cup. It's a very exciting and nerve-wracking sport. Each nation is cheering on their team, hoping they will become the next champion. So far, Brazil is the team with the most titles under their belt. They're really good.
All I know about soccer is that you can't use your hands and that players are always falling down trying to get a free kick or penalty kick. It seems like a sissy sport to me.
Whatever. I'm going to go watch the opening match.
All right, so the World Cup, as we said, it gathers over 100 million people to watch the final in 2006. Now, this sport is not very popular in North America.
It's not, well, that's not totally true because Mexicans really follow football.
That's right, that's right.
But I think in America, in United States, it is one of the less popular sports. I was thinking the other day, maybe number 5 on our list of popular sports.
Maybe because, well, you have American football, the NFL, you have Major League Baseball, you have the NBA, you have the NHL, and I think maybe before soccer, you probably either have golf or tennis before soccer. Even though the United States does have its own Major League Soccer.
Yep, MLS, Major League Soccer, and my hometown team is Chicago Fire, pretty good team.
I heard they're very good.
And the LA Galaxy, I think, is the other best team in the States.
That's right. Now, the United States did host the 1994 World Cup, and I think this is where a little bit of more interest started to come up, and I think Major League Soccer was formed prior to the World Cup in the United States.
That's right. Well, there's another part of it. I mean, as young people, as children, we almost all played soccer. I played soccer. I know a lot of my friends did as well. It's not popular everywhere, but a lot of people play it, and there's not really an audience for soccer in America once you're in the professional realm. And so the problem is when you pass college, you don't think of it as, the NBA, for example, because there's not as big of an audience, and so people just end up doing their normal jobs as opposed to being professional soccer players.
I think that has a big something to do with it, is the fact that there is not as much money in this sport professionally as, for example, the NBA
or prestige.
Exactly. Although this is the on the other hand, these players that do make it and they really want to play, they go abroad and they go play in the European leagues or something like that.
That's right. I think a lot of the American players who were playing the other day against England were playing against their teammates because so many of the American team, the American national team, play in the English Premier League. It was really awkward.
Well, it's a really great sport, as I think it's one of the most popular sports in many other countries as well, because it's so easy. All you need is a ball, you need a group of people, you put 2 rocks, and you have a goal, and you start playing.
And that's probably why it's the most international sport, because it's very easy to set up. People all over the world love it, and hopefully one day the United States will kind of push it and
champion.
Yeah, well. I hope this year they'll become champions, but my fingers are definitely crossed because who knows?
All right, so it's a really great topic. We want to know if your country is in the World Cup. Have you ever qualified for a World Cup? There are still many countries who haven't made it. Of course, it's a very small pool. 199 countries compete to qualify for the World Cup, and only 32 make it.
And you can also tell us who you're supporting. We won't judge.
That's right. So we're waiting for your comments at EnglishPod.com. We'll see everyone there.
Bye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
To officially begin something. Kick. A step in a process. Stage. Something only appropriate for girls or women. Sissy. Game. Match. One who provides services, etc., as for a convention. Host.
Let's try that faster.
A step in a process. Stage. Something only appropriate for girls or women. Sissy. To officially begin something. Kick. Game. Match. One who provides services, etc., as for a convention. Host.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Stage. There are several stages a team must go through in order to make the finals. Stage. This morning, I finally moved on to the next stage of my video game. Stage. If we start her on these medications, we can cure her because she is still only in the first stages of the illness. Kick. Today, we are kicking off a new line of cosmetics. Kick. At the opening ceremony, we will kick off the beginning of the weekend conference. Kick. The fundraiser's kickoff will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Match. It's Spain versus Brazil in the final match. Match. I can't make it to the match today, but let me know how it goes. Match. This soccer match is going to be nerve-wracking because it is my school against our rival school across town. Host. The host country put on quite an elaborate show at the opening ceremonies. Host. The host school went wild when the home team won the championship. Host. I hardly got any time to speak to the host of the party because she was constantly running around and talking to the other guests. Sissy. I think soccer is a sissy sport. Sissy. That kid is such a sissy when his mom is around, but he's fine when she's gone. Sissy. The whole camping trip she was being such a sissy about having to sleep on the ground and not being able to shower.